Hello everyone, Tina Spalding Trance Channel here today for our Course in Miracles text reading with Jesus commentary to follow. Of course, it's from A Course in Miracles, Chapter 4, Part 4, This Need Not Be. If you cannot hear the voice for God, it is because you do not choose to listen. That you do listen to the voice of your ego is demonstrated by your attitudes, your feelings, and your behavior. Yet this is what you want. This is what you are fighting to keep, and what you are vigilant to save. Your mind is filled with schemes to save the face of your ego, and you do not seek the face of Christ. The glass in which the ego seeks to see its face is dark indeed. How can it maintain the trick of its existence except with mirrors? But where you look to find yourself is up to you. I have said that you cannot change your mind by changing your behavior. But I have also said, and many times, that you can change your mind. When your mood tells you that you have chosen wrongly, and this is so whenever you are not joyous, then know that this need not be. In every case, you have thought wrongly about some brother God created, and are perceiving images your ego makes in a darkened glass. Think honestly what you have thought that God would not have thought, and what you have not thought that God would have you think. Search sincerely for what you have done and left undone accordingly, and then change your mind to think with God's. This may seem hard to do, but it is much easier than trying to think against it. Your mind is one with God's. Denying this and thinking otherwise has held your ego together, but has literally split your mind. As a loving brother, I am deeply concerned with your mind and urge you to follow my example as you look at yourself and your brother and see in both the glorious creations of a glorious Father. When you are sad, know this need not be. Depression comes from a sense of being deprived of something you want and do not have. Remember that you are deprived of nothing except by your own decisions, and then decide otherwise. When you are anxious, realize that anxiety comes from the capriciousness of the ego, and know this need not be. You can be as vigilant against the ego's dictates as for them. When you feel guilty, remember that the ego has indeed violated the laws of God, but you have not. Leave the sins of the ego to me. That is what atonement is for. But until you change your mind about those whom your ego has hurt, the atonement cannot release you. While you feel guilty, your ego is in command, because only the ego can experience guilt. This need not be. Watch your mind for the temptations of the ego and do not be deceived by it. It offers you nothing. When you have given up this voluntary dispiriting, you will see how your mind can focus and rise above fatigue and heal. Yet you are not sufficiently vigilant against the demands of the ego to disengage yourself. This need not be. The habit of engaging with God and His creations is easily made if you actively refuse to let your mind slip away. The problem is not one of concentration, it is the belief that no one, including yourself, is worth consistent effort. Side with me consistently against this deception, and do not permit this shabby belief to pull you back. The disheartened are useless to themselves and to me, but only the ego can be disheartened. Have you really considered how many opportunities you have to gladden yourself, and how many of them you have refused? There is no limit to the power of a Son of God, but He can limit the expression of His power as much as He chooses. Your mind and mine can unite in shining your ego away, releasing the strength of God into everything you think and do. Do not settle for anything less than this, and refuse to accept anything but this as your goal. Watch your mind carefully for any beliefs that hinder its accomplishment, and step away from them. Judge how well you have done this by your own feelings, for this is the one right use of judgment. Judgment, like any other defense, can be used to attack or protect, to hurt or to heal. The ego should be brought to judgment and found wanting there. Without your own allegiance, protection, and love, the ego cannot exist. Let it be judged truly, and you must withdraw allegiance, protection, and love from it. You are a mirror of truth, in which God Himself shines in perfect light. To the ego's dark glass you need but say, I will not look there, because I know these images are not true. Then let the Holy One shine on you in peace, knowing that this and only this must be. His mind shone on you in your creation and brought your mind into being. His mind still shines on you and must shine through you. Your ego cannot prevent him from shining on you, but it can prevent you from letting him shine through you. The first coming of Christ is merely another name for the creation, for Christ is the Son of God. The second coming of Christ means nothing more than the end of the ego's rule and the healing of the mind. I was created like you in the first, and I have called you to join me in the second. I am in charge of the second coming, and my judgment, which is used only for protection, cannot be wrong because it never attacks. Yours may be so distorted that you believe I was mistaken in choosing you. I assure you this is a mistake of your ego. Do not mistake it for humility. Your ego is trying to convince you that it is real, and I am not, because if I am real, I am no more real than you are. That knowledge, and I assure you that it is knowledge, means that Christ has come into your mind and healed it. I do not attack your ego. I do work with your higher mind, the home of the Holy Spirit, whether you are asleep or awake, just as your ego does with your lower mind, which is its home. I am your vigilance in this because you are too confused to recognize your own hope. I am not mistaken. Your mind will elect to join with mine, and together we are invincible. You and your brother will yet come together in my name, and your sanity will be restored. I raised the dead by knowing that life is an eternal attribute of everything that the living God created. Why do you believe it is harder for me to inspire the dispirited or to stabilize the unstable? I do not believe that there is an order of difficulty in miracles. You do. I have called, and you will answer. I understand that miracles are natural because they are expressions of love. My calling you is as natural as your answer and as inevitable. Wow, that's really beautiful. And that is our Course in Miracles text reading for today. Chapter 4, Part 4. This need not be. Let's see what Jesus has to say about this today. You are blessed beings indeed. I am that one that you know as Jesus. It is true. All of your suffering is self-induced. And this is a very, very hard pill to swallow. We are here to let you know that you have the power to direct your mind in whatever way you wish. When you are feeling bad, it is because you want to feel bad, because you are looking at something that is making you feel bad. If you do not want to feel bad, look away from that thing and look upon something that you love. This seems self-centered, you say. Well, if we ignored all of the bad things in the world, nothing would get changed. On the contrary, as you look upon that which you do not want in the world and focus all of your heart and mind and soul on that thing that you do not want, you are magnifying it. You are bringing it, in fact, right into your mind. In that moment when you are gazing upon that which you do not want over and over and over again, which some of you are doing right now, you are bringing that thing into your mind and you are suffering by your own free will. When you gaze upon something that you do not like, which of course happens in this world, we want you to look upon that thing and say, I do not want this thing. I do not like this thing. I do not approve of this thing. But it is here and it is expressing itself through the reality that I am a part of. So I will accept that whatever has created this thing was in the past, because this thing is existent right now. I can see it manifesting. So there's no point in hating this thing that has manifested. There is no point in lurking around with this thing that has manifested. Look at this thing that has manifested that you do not want and ask yourself, what is the opposite of this thing? What is it that I do want? And use that thing that you don't want to inspire you. If you are seeing trees being chopped down, which is something that is front and center in our dear one's environment at this time, if you are seeing trees being chopped down and you hate it, and that magnificent being falling to the ground breaks your heart, feel that heartbreak and go and plant a tree. That is the solution. If everybody who gazed upon those logging companies cutting down trees went and planted a tree, 10,000 trees would be planted for every one that is cut down. We are not saying that you should not go and stand on the lines and try and stop that. We are not saying that. There are environmental warriors who are destined to do those things. But for those of you in your armchairs, those of you that are not on the front lines, when you see that video, go and buy a tree and plant it. Plant it on the side of the road, plant it in a park, plant it in your back garden. We don't care where you plant it, but plant it and know that you have done the right thing with that bad thing. We want you to understand that this is the way to use that which you see and observe in the world that is not what you want. Do the opposite, but use that energy as a springboard. Say, I do not want this. I don't like this. This isn't good for our planet. This isn't good for our children. This isn't good for us. Find out what it is that's happening and do the opposite. And if everybody did that, your world would change in 1 year. Everything would be different. This need not be. This world that you see need not be, but you have become too passive and you have become too confused. And you have become lured in by your social media programs. You think that you are making a difference when you are making a post or doing a smiley face under someone's comment. Act in the world. Think, feel, and then act. And by acting, we do not mean pressing a button. We do not mean posting an emoji. We mean do the thing in the world that is the opposite of that which you don't want every single day. If you are seeing things that you don't want, do the opposite. If you hate wearing a mask into the store, revel in the 99% of the day that you don't wear a mask. Breathe in deeply and appreciate your freedom. This is the way to transform the world, through conscious manifestation, through direction of your mind, leading to right and wise action. I am that one that you know as Jesus, and I will speak to you again soon. Wow. I do love Jesus. Thank you for joining me today, and I will see you again soon. Bye.